No time for an introduction. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before I get started, I actually want to shout out to one of my followers. Her name is Raven. So while I was walking out of Kroger today, I came across Raven. She was like, "Hi, I love your TikToks." She just don't realize you made my day. I wasn't even gonna post today, but because you made me feel good, thank you, Raven. Everybody make sure you thank Raven for today's post. Now enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into it. Today we're going to talk about Henri van Breda. Wait, do y'all know who this man looked like to me? There's no way you're going to tell me these are two different people. You just can't convince me. That's Jason Segal, and this is a little bitch. January the 27th, 2015, he was at home with his family. His family consists of his dad, Martin, his mom, Teresa, his little sister, Marley, and his older brother, Rudy. Now, he was in the bathroom. He was probably touching himself, but nonetheless, all of a sudden, downstairs, he started to hear a commotion. Now, because he's a chronic masturbator, he did not leave the bathroom as this commotion ensued. Instead, according to him, he watched through a crack in the bathroom door as his family was getting murdered.
Help! Help me! Hi, what's the Wi-Fi password?
The men that were inside the house were using an axe and a knife to take out his family. Now, while he's staring from the bathroom, he sees a man with an axe, taking swings at his brother. So his dad comes in the room and confronts the man. Unfortunately, the man took out the dad and the brother. And then the killer turns and sees him staring through the bathroom, so they have eye contact.
Ma'am. She not talking to me like...
That's when he and the intruder have hand-to-hand combat. Now, he was able to fight off the intruder, but not unscathed. The intruder was able to stab him once in the torso. So, like, somewhere up here. And then he just passed out. Why, after he passed out, did not the intruders kill him then? I guess it was just his luck. So, almost 3 hours later, he wakes up from being unconscious. This part was really crazy. He does not know how to contact the police. So he actually has to go on the internet and search for local police or local law enforcement and find a number to call the police from. Yeah, a 20-year-old man. Now, when the police actually show up, he's actually outside. He's sitting in the front lawn. He has on his pajama set. He's covered in blood. And he's just devastated. Now, the police go through the house, and it's very quick to find out that, just about everybody's dead until they get to the sister. My girl, Marley, she's a fighter. Now, Marley has an axe wound to the head. Like, it's deep. So they have to rush her to ICU to get her into surgery, like, ASAP. While they rush her off, they ask him, okay, like, you're the only survivor that's not really hurt except for, a stab in the torso. What happened? So he tells them that two men came to the house and basically just everything I just told you. He saw them stabbing his family. Now the police were like, okay, do you have any little more? Do you know how they looked? Sir, who did this to you? And he's quick to respond.
With niggas, I mean nigga people. Oh, Lord.
Yep, he says two well-built black men. They did it. They came to rob the house. They was dressed in all black with black ski masks. And yeah, they did it. Even though they came in from the bottom level and everybody was upstairs, they went upstairs, killed everybody. And guess what? They didn't even take anything. Remember, kids, if you can't blame nobody else, you can always blame niggas. Now, the police were like, okay. Because where they stayed is actually considered one of the absolute safest places in South Africa. Period. I mean, there was 24-hour surveillance, 24-hour ground patrol, there was motion detectors, and it was surrounded by an electric fence. It was easier for them people to hijack them planes in 9/11 than it would be to sneak into this place. But you know what? Let's stay with the story. Let's keep going. So the police, they don't dwell too long. They actually go and check on the sister. The sister actually ended up being in ICU for a while, and it was months of rehabilitating to get her back up to speed. Now, there was a big problem with the sister. Even though she lived, she had retrograde amnesia. So she remembered nothing from that night. And if I'm correct, I think to this day, she still doesn't remember anything. This sounds like it could be a blessing as well. Okay, so we all know that he is the killer. Let me go and tell you everything that happened. So the family is actually from Australia. The mom has family in South Africa and the dad is very wealthy. He owns over 25 businesses. Now, because of his business ownership, it was easier for him to be in South Africa, and the mom, she wanted to be close to the family. So they made the move in later 2014. So the mom, dad, and Marley, they moved to South Africa in later 2014, but Rudy and Henry, they stayed in Australia because they were in college. But remember, y'all, he's rich, so why go to college? I mean, I wouldn't. So he drops out, and then he decides to get hooked, but I do not mean on phonics. Yes, sir, he got hooked on narcotics. Now, since he left his bright future to become a professional bum, he moved back in with his parents. Now, Rudy also moved back, but he was still in college. He was still doing good things in the world. But this one here, when he moved back in, he actually had to go to rehab. And the family, they argue, kind of often, but most people describe it as regular family arguments. But the mom and dad really want him to get his act together because they weren't about to raise this dude that was hooked on drugs. At least they were about to fund him. So very shortly before the murders occurred, they actually threatened to cut him off completely. So in his head, he's going, money or drugs? Money or drugs? Why can't we have both? Oh, but wait, my family won't give me any money. I guess I have to kill him. So that night, he got an axe and he murdered his whole family. Now, remember, he said he passed out, which of course we know he didn't do. But he waited because he wanted everyone to bleed out. But all that death and blood, he really wanted to talk to his girlfriend. So around 4:30 that morning, he called his girlfriend about 4 or 5 times, but it's 4:30 in the morning, so she didn't answer. She was asleep. Then he decided to call the police. A year and a half later, he was finally arrested and his sister Marley was given the family fortune. The family fortune is about 200 million rand, which in American money, that's a little over $11 million. He was given life sentences for his mom, dad, and his older brother, but he was only given 15 years for the attempt on his sister Marley. But the story is not quite over. In 2018, while he's in prison up someplace called the place is called Drakenstein. He was jumped by 5 men inside of the prison. Now, when he got jumped by those 5 inmates, he was actually saved by another inmate who ripped a condom dispenser off the wall and fought off the other people. Now, I don't know about a lot of prisons, because I used to work in maximum security out here. A condom dispenser you know what? I guess it helps stops the spread of disease. Because, they gonna hunch. Whatever, so he got saved then. Then later on, he was attacked by another gang member with a padlock. His skull got split open. I mean, he survived, but he was like, I ain't pressing charges. And honestly, I wouldn't either. In either case, those condoms from that condom dispenser is probably coming in handy right now in his life. But yeah, he's in prison. And that's it. Crazy, right?